Hello guys, Tops here, something special today, how to battle Forge Dodge. And I want to talk about Sigurd. He is our huge oathtaker, and this is my oathtaker run. We currently have the Oath of Wrath, so we have negative defense. But I want to talk about the concept of Battleforge Dodge and my thoughts on Battleforge Dodge. So basically, what you're gonna do is you want to find an oathtaker, like Sigurd, just a casual oathtaker who has like decent attack, decent defense, and then you want to pump every single roll into initiative. So you basically build this bro like a fencer. This is basically a fencer that didn't have enough initiative, right? Kind of like a mediocre fencer. Or if you find like a fencer candidate, you want to make him into Battleforge instead, rather than having him being a squishy glass cannon like this fencer, right? So if you want to make the Battleforge version of a fencer, this is the Battleforge version of the fencer. And the core idea behind that is you skill fatigue, and you don't skill fatigue at all. You only go initiative, attack, defense. And for that, oathtakers are, in my opinion, the only or the best candidates who can pull this off, probably the only ones, because you have really high base hit points and resolve, so you don't have to fix that. And you don't level any fatigue anyways, but also you have really high base initiative. And this is actually not a good example, because I remember he super low rolled his initiative all the time, so but we still managed to get like 150 base initiative. And normally we would have plus 15 initiative from like the hyena cloak that I don't have on this armor. So we actually would have 117 initiative with full forge gear. Of course, this is flame forge gear. And a big two-handed weapon and a backpack weapon. And how I built him in this case, the core of this build is definitely brawny dodge, and a lot of people they tend to do Battleforge dodge without brawny. But I think especially on an oathtaker, it's not only about the fatigue, but brawny gives you also 30% of your initiative back. So if you have heavy forge gear, you are not only gaining like a substantial amount of fatigue back, you're also gaining a substantial amount of initiative back. And the whole idea is that you basically get the character up to 130 initiative with full forge gear, and then you are basically faster than almost any opponent in the game. What does that mean? You are basically permanently adrenaline. You're always going first. And you can see this is here, this host, my rat catcher, and with 130 initiative, he almost always went first. Of course, this is a nimble character. And this is kind of like what we want to achieve with heavy Battleforge gear. It would be easier to achieve if we don't have a backpack weapon that's already 107, or if we found a weapon who has lighter fatigue, if we found lighter forge gear. Again, guys, just imagine we had plus 15 initiative from the hyena 4 o'clock. That's what we need. We need to give our Battleforge armor the hyena 4 o'clock. And then we are basically going first. And the thing is, if you have 130 initiative, you get like, I don't know, almost plus 20 melee and range defense from dodge. Again, he's huge and we have the Oath of Wrath, so he normally would have more defense. And I still went for Berserk here, because that makes him scale better into harder fights and into the late game. But basically what we can do with this guy, we can just walk up to an enemy, end our turn, and we are going first next round no matter what, because we are so fast with full forge gear. Again, it requires an oathtaker, and it is like, I know one thing for sure, like he min rolled, so we're only at 150 initiative, but like oathtakers, they can have 120 base initiative, and if they have 1 star, it is really likely, if you level every single time initiative, that you get to like 160 initiative base. Then you give him light forge gear, hyena 4 padding, and you should reach 130 initiative. Shouldn't be actually too hard, especially let's just for fun equip our fencer with the full forge gear that we have here. I think that should be like relatively easy doable. And the whole idea, as I said, is that we have a battle forge guy who is just extremely fast. Yeah. So basically, this guy has 118 initiative. Just imagine plus 15, we would have 135 or something like this, 133 initiative. So we are basically always going first, permanent adrenaline. In this case, this guy has relentless. Yeah. So if you have a candidate that is has basically an oathtaker who is fencer potential, but you don't like the fencer, you like battle forge, and you like forge neutral, make him into battle forge dodge, and he will be an absolute beast. He will always go first. You can skip berserk if you want to maintain high initiative values. You can go for fearsome. You can take relentless. You can not take quick hands because it's anti-synergetic, having additional weight in your backpack, and go relentless instead. You can take 9 lives. Anticipation. But again, core idea of this perk is of this build is having brawny with dodge, and I think that's the misconception, because a lot of people, they like to build their fatigue neutrals without brawny. But I think especially if you want to have battle forge dodge, going brawny gives you so much. It gives you additional fatigue, but it also gives you additional speed, and speed is the thing that you need. And I know, guys, you kind of want to maintain always high dodge value. That's why you just go super low fatigue, and you always have like super low. You only basically get -2 initiative or -2 defense, because you only have 15 fatigue that you can lose, and you still have high dodge values. But again, I think this is the more interesting way to go, is to have basically permanent adrenaline online. And with berserk, of course, you would lose that at some point. Yeah, but I think this is kind of like the play. And of course, if you don't like that, you can skip brawny and do your normal fatigue neutral approach, where you have like super low fatigue, like 20 fatigue or something. The benefits of having brawny is you can give your brother heavier gear at the first place, and at the second place you have more wiggle room for fatigue, because especially on fatigue neutrals, if you get like dazed, if you get any kind of status effect, anything that fucks up your fatigue, you are instantly unable to do anything. Sometimes you can't move, you can't hit. If you have really low fatigue, if you get like, sometimes you can't even free yourself from nets because you don't have the 25 fatigue to do that. So I like to build fatigue neutrals at least with like 30 fatigue or something, like a little bit more. You need to have a little bit extra wiggle room for the moment when stuff goes wrong. And with brawny on an oathtaker, you just get so much fatigue that you basically don't have to worry about this at all. And you actually have enough fatigue to berserk multiple times, or at least enough to contribute to harder late game fights. But in the beginning, you are basically walking up to an opponent and your turn, and you are going first next turn because you have so much initiative. That is the whole idea. You're basically a fencer in full forge armor. And yeah, this is what I tried out. It worked really well. I highly recommend you guys try that out and tell me how it went. I think this is a nice build for the guys who prefer Battleforge over fencers. Alright guys, I stream daily on Twitch and YouTube. You can join me. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and have a nice day guys. Bye bye.